Yes, I did computer packages. We used to call it packaging. No. That's just literacy. Yes, the packages. And then after that I did SPSS. But he is a senior lecturer with
use it, and then you can have a discussion about it. You know? So they'll be telling you what things they do. They'll do things. For example, I've used Gemini, previously Google Bard, for a while. So today, if I get a text or a document, and I just look at it, I can tell this is from generative AI. I don't need to pass it through some checks. I've used it enough to be able to tell this is raw output from generative AI. Now you need to get there. You know? I'm learning many things. So of course I've used it to cover the papers, refine papers, etc., etc. I've also come to realize that what we shall all realize shortly, that while it has great potential, it has some very significant weaknesses. Yeah? My take, my observation from experience, that you cannot use generative AI productively if you have not mastered the subject for which you are trying to use it. So for example, if you ask generative AI to generate anything for you, I've learned that the first thing I must do is I need to know almost 80% of what I'm asking it. Why that is important is because I need to tell whether it's actually giving me the correct feedback. I need to know. How do you know? If you don't know the subject matter. So you've got to really be an expert in exactly what you're asking to do. It is helpful in some ways, but if you're going to use it productively, you really need to know the answer. So that question you're asking, you need to have a good idea of what the answer is. So these are the kind of things we learn from experience. I can't teach you that. You need to use it. And you realize that, it doesn't know much. Yeah? I actually know a little more than it, but it can put it in nice language, grammar, you know, and it can add on to what you know. But you cannot go to generative AI, what they say, tabula rasa. I don't know nothing, now generate, give me a proposal. So for example, let me go by way of example. We were given an assignment the other day, and to generate a proposal. Yeah? So, I just picked a topic on mental health and well-being, and I prompted it. This Gemini, what are some contemporary research areas in mental health and well-being? So I got a lot of feedback here. Lots of feedback. A lot of it. But I had to read through them and pick one of the interesting ones. So it doesn't sort of replace your effort in reading. So then, I picked a topic and I asked it, expound further on social media's influence on mental health, exploring that, etc., etc. So it gives me some responses I read through, okay? Getting somewhere. So how can AI be part of the solution to mental health problems caused by social media influence? So I asked that, okay, so Gemini gives me some good feedback here. And then I asked it, okay, fine. Now, give me 3 research questions on this study. Okay, so it gives me nice research questions. To what extent can AI-powered chatbots effectively deliver, what was this? CBT thing. Yeah? Cognitive behavioral therapy. Yeah? To individuals with mild to moderate anxiety and depression, etc. There are 3 questions. So I picked the first question, and I said, now, give me some background literature on the first question. So I use a tool called SciSpace. So give me some background literature. So I got literature complete with citations. Yeah? But you know what? I still have to read this thing and just confirm, first of all, that these references are real. You know, they're real. I checked. Then, the next thing is, give me some research gaps from this paper, the first reference. So I uploaded this. So this was Notebook LM, a different tool. So I've used how many so far? Gemini, SciSpace, and Notebook LM. So I uploaded the paper to Notebook LM and asked it, give me some research gaps. So I upload the paper, And I prompt it, what are some research gaps from this period? So it gives me very interesting things, and I can tell you from my background knowledge, I think these things make a lot of sense. It's like, wow, okay, let's keep going. Propose methodology for the following research questions. Gemini, where are we? I got the methodology. Only that it was too long to put in my paper. So it tells me, use a randomized controlled trial. And who are the participants? Gives me the participants, the intervention groups, the measures, the procedures to follow, the data analysis, ethical considerations. Isn't my proposal done? Or so you may imagine. Yeah? But that did not take away my role to read through and to synthesize everything that I got from the tools. Was it helpful? Yes. Yeah? Yes. Was that helpful? Yes. Yeah. It's like magic. You know? Like in the space of 1 hour, you move from a topic to methodology. You know? Sounds like fun. It is fun. And I'm an advocate for that. Use it. Why not? You know, think about it this way. You know you can walk from Nairobi, right? Yeah. You know you can walk, yeah? It should take you a few weeks, but you get here. But you chose to drive, isn't it? Exactly. Why take months writing a proposal that you can get a draft in less than a day? What value do you have from the effort? It doesn't mean you don't read. It doesn't mean you don't check out the citations. No, you still have to do that. But you work smarter. So are we almost convinced that this is a good thing to do? Change your mind. It has moved on. You know? As you compose yourself, as you change your mind, the world has moved on. Now, I'll do an overview of generative AI very quickly, some applications, a few use cases, then my colleague will talk about the case studies, then I'll talk about the challenges, what gives you some skepticism. So, in the evolution of AI, we got 3 stages. We are currently in stage 1, largely, where we got to narrow artificial intelligence. Does one thing very well, like your spam filters in your email and etc. Very well. Specific tasks done very well. You know, recommender systems like when you go online shopping, so you bought this, people like you also bought this. You watch this movie, so you could also watch the following movies. Those work very well. Specific, like self-driving cars, lane assist in your car. If you have eyesight, okay, we know which cars have eyesight, you drive those machines. When you move out of your lane, it gives you some warnings. When you approach an obstacle, that's AI. Very nice. Works, isn't it? We are getting into artificial general intelligence, where AI is beginning to almost get human-like capabilities, like generative AI. Almost there. Can actually be very comforting to a DVC, better than some humans attempted to do in the room. Yeah? That's where we are now. We fear that we will get to machine consciousness, where machines will realize that they are machines and you are a human. And they will think independently. And they will form an opinion on whether you are an enemy or a friend. And they will also make a decision on whether you need to continue existing or not. And they will begin making themselves. And that will be the end of us. Interesting. We never thought we'd get here, so I don't know whether we're getting to the final stage. So AI essentially is our attempt to make computers perform the tasks that we do as human beings. What do? We see, we smell, we taste, we touch, we move, we reason, isn't it? We make decisions. That's what we are trying to get AI to do for us. We do art. We compose music. So anything we do, we are trying to get machines to do that for us. That's AI in a nutshell. So generative AI, essentially, attempts to create new content. The word new is very subjective because it's not exactly new. AI essentially is like a child. Now think about how a child learns to walk. You know, they crawl, they stand. Oftentimes they fall over backwards or fall over forward, isn't it? Next time they try to stand, they have learned that if I stand very fast, I tend to fall over backwards. So maybe this time I stand differently, isn't it? So with time, the child learns how to stand, how to balance, then they learn how to walk and run and sprint and etc. And that is AI. It is trained over time. It learns over mistakes, minimizes errors, and eventually gives you something that you think is accurate. And that is generative AI. It's been trained to reproduce what it has already seen in a manner that makes you think this looks new. But is there any real originality? Just like in your research, your literature review is not exactly original. You rework it, isn't it? But you derive from something that is existing. So we develop images, text, music, and videos based on patterns and examples in existing data. So nothing out of the blue. Just a good student who is able to reproduce or create something close to what they've learned. So it uses algorithms to understand and analyze data, and that data is then used to create new, original content. It's sort of new because it has not existed in that form before. So we're talking about data. These are the things behind generative AI and AI in general. Just pick up the terms, I'm not going to them, but once in a while go on YouTube and just do a video on deep learning, what are neural networks. We attempt to mimic the working of the human brain. That's what is neural networks. We have neurons, how you sense. Remember from biology class a long time ago. So that's what happens. So they learn from patterns, trends, and relationships within the training data, and then they can give you something that sounds coherent. I hope you're getting the words here. There's learn, there are patterns, there are trends, there are relationships, isn't it? So it cannot come up with anything that has never been associated before. For example, it must come from somewhere. So how is that process? Like AI in general, data. This is where we begin talking about issues of bias. If you feed it, if you train it on a certain data set, it only knows that data set. So some generative AI, if you ask it to give you a picture of a person, etc., if you don't specify, you're likely to get a Caucasian, not your dark skin. Because it's not so much of that, but you don't have enough of us on the internet for that data. So it learns from data. Data is text, books, websites, blogs, audio, video, all that is data. It learns from data. So if you want it to give you an image of a cat, you go to show it so many cats. So you want a blue cat, then you can, okay, yeah, we can paint the cat blue, fine. But yeah, it first looks like a cat, then we paint it blue, So it comes from somewhere. So, training. It looks and looks. Think about your students memorizing your notes, Oh, well, like I used to once, a long time ago, I would write a nice small compressed thing on my notes, and I would read it and read it and read it. Then as I read, I would ask a question, what is this? What is this? Then I would answer the questions without the notes. That's how they passed. So I would answer the questions, then come back and look at the marking scheme, see where I went wrong. Good. Put that aside, come back, answer the questions again. And every time I did that, I got better. That's how AI learns. Yeah? Gets the data, tends to create something, learns from the mistakes, goes back and minimizes the errors. By the time I would get to the exam room, it was very good. So that's what we do. Training. So sometimes the adversarial networks, variation and autoencoders, just let them pass. Yeah? Just let them pass. Just remember them sometime in the evening when you're relaxing. Then you do latent space representation. So it cannot memorize the entire data. But it picks out some very subtle things that it should remember. That if you're talking about a cat, it has a certain composition on its face which is different from a cow. It has a certain skin covering which is different from what you find on a chicken. So it picks up the salient features of that data or the object and keeps that, not the actual data. So next time you ask it to give you a cow, it knows, oh, yeah, let me go back to the features that determine this is a cow. And I'll recreate from, say, more like a recipe. So that's what we call a latent space representation. So I don't need to memorize everything, I just need to know the key features and I can reproduce from that. Then it generates. Oh, give me a cow. Good. Cow, the adder facing forward, facing backward, etc. It has seen everything, so it gives you that. Then does iterative refinement. So there's training. So once in a while, you'll be asked, so does this look like a cow? Yes, no. It knows I got it wrong. So there's a concept called reinforcement learning. You try and minimize the errors, eventually you become more accurate. So that's iterative refinement. So the key things there, probabilistic modeling, latent space representation. Let them pass. Adversarial training, just pick a word there. With probability, attracts you, yeah, that is part of AI. Autoregressive modeling, you remember regression? Regression is at the heart of AI. Literally everything AI does is a regression model, whether it is linear or non-linear. What we do, either you are predicting a continuous variable or you're predicting a class, it's logical probability, it's linear regression. Let me simplify that for you. However, it's linear regression on big data. Now this big data is stored in matrices. There comes your linear algebra, yeah? And your transformations and etc. But then these subtle changes, you want to know, am I getting closer to the truth? Comes calculus in there. So what's the probability that it's a cow and not a cat? The statistics comes in. So AI is a combination of all that. Yeah? It's a combination of all that. But at the heart of it is a regression model. Whether it's predicting a continuous or a categorical variable. Cat or dog. Or what's the amount of rain tomorrow, etc. So I'm sure now you have had a few terms that you relate with. So feel comfortable, you're somewhere on the journey. So these are some of the main types of generative AI models under the hood. Generative adversarial networks, variation of encoders, just Google them. But the idea is you pick somebody who knows and somebody who doesn't know, and they attempt to guess, and the adversary tells them whether they are correct, and with time, they sort of agree that now you're good, and so on and so forth. These are the hood. So you can learn more and share the slides already. So, some applications, text to text. When you want what I did, that was text to text. Give me a proposal, give me a summary. By the way, Gemini is good at summarizing. So when I wrote some chapters of some books a few weeks ago, I picked the chapter and then it give me a conclusion. Pap! I get the conclusion. And then I realized, oh yeah, I didn't have the introduction to this chapter. Generate an introduction from here. It gives me an introduction, and it knows how to differentiate an introduction from a conclusion. Text to text. If you are yet to be converted, see me behind the tent, we can convert you. Images from text, text to PowerPoint. Actually, I attempted to generate something. It works, by the way. Give me a PowerPoint presentation or an introduction to generative AI. You get that. Designs, 3D models, music, voice, video. You can do all these things. So text is the main way we communicate with generative AI. But you can also give it images and ask it, so what exactly is this? Convert images into video. You know, there are tools for these images to code. If you are teaching programming, the students are not really bothered about code these days. It's Copilot, etc. So they give the code you need. What is your role, by the way, going forward? You try and assess them, then they are already smarter than you. So I created an image here. I gave it a prompt, a room with researchers learning about generative AI in Kenya with the Kenyan flag. You know, this room doesn't exist in real life. But I got a photo there and it understood me. You know, I tried to tell it about in Chuka University. It told me, nah, I don't know Chuka. So this would have looked like Chuka with your logo, but Magic Studio didn't know Chuka. So, too bad. We just use Kenya for now. So there we go. The bias, you know. But you got to put yourself out there. This video is real, and I'll share that. There's actually, it's only time that phrases. Actually ask, give me a video to introduce generative AI. I have a video there. You play it, yeah? Later on. Yeah? I even asked, give me a song to introduce generative AI. There's a song. I'll play it later in the breaks, you know? You want to hear the song? What? Future great public man. Remember us one day.
Video of the song and
You want the dance, yeah.
What the music?
Pixels the brush, neural nets hung, no need for rush. Binary symphonies, let machine crush. Future in our hands, no more hush.
Sorry to cut the fun. I'm racing against time, and entertainment was not exactly on the table. But I just told you, give me a song and give me a video.
So the song is also AI generated.
It doesn't want to stop.
Tell Gemini to stop.
Oh yeah, data generation. So you're doing your research and you need to test your models, your AI models. And if it's acceptable, you can generate synthetic data. So I gave it that prompt, give me 1,000 rows of Kenyan counties, 147 ethnicity from the 40 tribes, and what is all that? Yeah, that's the prompt I gave it. And the favorite Kenyan football, blah, blah, blah. I gave you the options. And I got 1,000 rows of data. So if you can describe your data very clearly, there are simulators that will give you something randomized in that respect. So if it's allowed to simulate, there's so much you could do. Now, prompt engineering, let me mention that, is the art of asking the question right. So you've heard a lot about prompt engineering. You need to know how to ask your question in order to get the right answer. So I described my requirement as clearly as I could. It gave me exactly that. So that's a subject of another day. But read about prompt engineering. But when you engage generative AI, please describe exactly what you want. The context, the number, everything. That's how it works. So a few use cases. All these tools and many more will help you with your literature review and brainstorming. You know, all these are helpful for you. I use Gemini, I use SciSpace, I've used Notebook LM, Copilot from Microsoft, Research Rabbit was mentioned, Elicit, ChatPDF. I mean, the point is there's so many. And so many people are using them, including your students. Please welcome on board. Join us. Into the debate, Vuka Sakafu, tafadhali. We are already here. Yeah? So let's just do this and make your life much easier. If we had time, I would have just done this, what I did with my proposal. We would have done some ideation, do some literature search, and in about 30 minutes, you come out of here with a semblance of a proposal. Yeah? A semblance of one. You still got to make it look like human. So the point of this is, sometimes the tool is not everything. One tool may not work. So you could do brainstorming on one, do literature search on another, and come back and do something else on a different one, and so on and so forth. So you've got to have a variety of skills. Yes, you can detect AI writing using AI. So all these tools have some form of AI detection. So you could also make use of them for your students, yourself. Just know that you are not exactly helpless. You can't detect it with your eyes like sometimes I can do. There are tools available. So if you're an administrator, you want to watch, by all means. If you're writing and you want to make sure you've done enough humanizing, you can check with these tools. Yeah, this sounds awesome. Even grants, just give it a call. Well, I'm not trying that one. So just imagine that AI grant writer. I mean, just tell me the sections you want, who you are, etc., etc. Hey, bro. I don't know if you're not using AI where you are now, but grants, you can do this. And these are specifically developed for grant proposal writing. Now, the catch here is a lot of the tools I'm showing you have a free version, but some you've got to pay. There is no free coffee, please. You've got to pay. I pay for some of them. I found it so nice. I paid. Yeah? So eventually, stop thinking they should be free. Even ChatGPT, there's a level to which you have to pay, isn't it? Even Gemini has another version that you pay, which is so much better. Code generation, our students are generating code, so but they still need to learn how to program. So those are things we'll be discussing. So now they can develop code. So what are we doing in class? That's a good question. Presentation generators. I tried. Gamma was so nice, but I couldn't do more than 10 slides. So I just went back to my usual way of doing things. But very beautiful slides. Canva is generally doesn't have the limitation, but you can do beautiful slides and videos. Data generation, I think I mentioned that. Mostly AI is what I use for the data, but you can use these and many others for data generation. When you have time, you watch this video about what Microsoft is doing in MS Teams, Microsoft Teams for Education. And it's time for Dr. Mogo to now give you some case success stories, then I'll come back and talk about challenges. Welcome to challenge.
Is we are increasingly getting to a situation where students will have no.
Thank you. The impression I have is like we have a situation where students will not necessarily see value and need to come to class physically, or even learn anything really. Because if these things can be done in the house, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, why bother come to class? Why even pay school fees or a college fee? Which then brings to the question as to whether what we know as learning, traditional if you like, for lack of a better way to put it, would make sense in the next 1 or 2 years, if it doesn't make sense now. And then that brings in the question about integrity, credibility, and value. And I think these are the issues that you guys must address. Otherwise, we will be overrun. And therefore, we will have no students coming to school.
So, ladies and gentlemen, who is you guys? Let me start from there. You guys is you guys. Let me correct you. This is fine for all of you, huh? Not the people on the podium. We are this together. We are this together, so it's us. Yeah? Because AI does not operate in another context. It operates in every context where you are. And we are here to think about how it should operate in your context. We are here to ask ourselves, how do we define learning going forward? Because a lot of what we used to do or think is learning in the past is already done, isn't it? But people still need to learn, so what do they learn? Let me not take time, but We are holding the thought. I'm not being authorized to take questions. I was just
I have a burning one. I have a burning one.
I'm happy that we have having burning questions, but this discussion is not complete. The way they are presenting, the way I was made to understand by them, it is a continuous part. First of all, to provoke those things that you are talking about. Then they tell you bad, except so wait for that bad from him and him, so that we ask now better questions.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Okay, I think we continue with the journey of provoking, and then at the right time, we shall now engage in those discussions. Those are the discussions that we've been having together with Dr. Moses and others at the Microsoft ABC headquarters. And therefore, they are very interesting. And I know that we shall be able to discuss them at the appropriate time. Just to continue provoking your minds, I just want you to go to menti.com. Just go to menti.com, and then you type menti.com, and then you type this menti.com. Menti.com. Just go there. Are we there? Use your smartphones. Menti.com. Are we there? Yes. So once there, you'll be prompted to enter a code. Are we there? Yes. So the code to enter is 7580, 7580, 7531. 7580, 7531. Tuko hapo? Okay, what is displayed on your screen? Are we joining? So we start with the first question. Mention just one term that describes your feeling about GenAI in education. I can see that we already have one response. Game changer. Just type what you think. Super. When prompted. Wonderful. Fear. Edifying. Fantastic, great, efficiency, great potential. So all these are our concerns, our feelings about GenAI. I can see that so far we have 13 responses. Opportunity, interesting, panacea, great, game changer, interesting, wow. Black box, integral part of learning. That one has instructions have not been followed. I will say one term. And it's our. Every answer is right at our level. Amused, ambivalent, needs policy. Let me just, because of time, let me go to the next question. Second question, how will generative AI change the role of teachers in the classroom? What do you think will happen with now GenAI? Pick one option. You can see how the results are trickling in. Teachers will become facilitators of AI content. Leading. Teachers will become curators of AI-generated materials. I think that is Following that, there is a tie 6. Teachers' role will remain unchanged. Teachers will be replaced by AI. You can see what we are thinking about this thing. Let's go to the other one because of time. How might generative AI impact students' creativity? It will diminish their ability to think independently. It will enhance their creativity. No effect at all on creativity. It will limit creativity but improve efficiency. You can see we have mixed reactions to these concerns. 40 have already voted. 44, 46. I think we are more than 50. We are at 48. So what we are picking there is it will diminish the ability to think independently. This is a debatable question, and that's why we shall come to the discussion. The next one. I know this is a very serious issue. Should students be allowed to use ChatGPT and other GenAI tools to complete their assignment? Can you allow them to use these things in an examination setup? I can see yes, but with clear guidelines and educational goals. Some say no because it might lead to academic dishonesty. Let me go to the other one quickly because of time. Could generative AI replace traditional textbooks?
No. It might not if it is using those ones. Where is it getting? So why would you buy it?
Yes, leading to a major transformation in education. No, textbooks will always be needed. It will complement rather than replace textbooks. You can see. We are at 44. The next one. How will generative AI affect student motivation in class? Is it increasing motivation by offering instant help and feedback? Will it decrease motivation as students may rely too heavily on AI? Will it not impact motivation? Will it only motivate the students who are already tech savvy? I can see. You can see we have quite a lot to discuss. The issue of motivation, laziness, morale in class. We have really, it has really been a great concern. Let's look at the other one in terms of curriculum development. I know most of us are in academic setup. We develop curricula. Now, how will it be informed by GenAI? Again, you can see there is no one common start amongst us. Mixed reactions. 18 all of the above. 9 by analyzing education trends and suggesting curriculum updates. 6 by identifying gaps in the current curricula and proposing new content. We are almost there. AI systems can perpetuate biases and affect fairness in education. Should we hold AI use until these biases are fully addressed? Again, we are not taking a common start. You can see. This means that we're going to have very lively discussions in this workshop. And at the end of the workshop tomorrow, I'm sure probably we shall have consensus on some of these issues. So that we have 38, 39, when we get to 40, I think that is representative enough. So no, but continue using AI as we mitigate these biases. Finally, what might be the long-term impact of widespread generative AI use in education? Again, very interesting there. It could lead to a decline in essential skills like critical thinking and creativity. Daktari was saying that this is the way to go. We need probably to redefine what is this creative thinking that we've been talking about. What is really creative thinking? Are we going to see the decline, or are we going to see a new form of energized creativity amongst our learners now that they have all this content? You can see there, majority are saying that it will decline, creativity will decline. 9, it will create a more personalized and efficient educational system. So, last question, what is your biggest concern with GenAI in education? Irresponsible use, lack of critical thinking among learners, ethical regulations, how to don't shape up guidance and policies on the extent of use, the issues of duplication, lack of training and awareness on its capability. It will make learners lazy, decline in creativity, ethical regulations. I think that is coming out clearly. How to ethically use it, accessed by the less exposed in the society, the issues of digital divide, getting everyone on board equally. Again, that is the issue of digital divide, accuracy of content. There is a lot. So basically, as I go to my presentation, you can see that there is quite a lot. There is quite a lot that we are going to talk about generative AI. Allow me, because of time, just to talk about a few use cases. Now we understand, all of us understand or have an idea about GenAI, and then I talk about case studies of a few select universities, and then if time allow, I can talk about our current project that we are working on this space, on GenAI. So we have already done that. So these are the challenges that we are grappling with. A few of the challenges that we are dealing with, we have to grapple with when it comes to higher education. One, having customized education. Having adaptable education, where the content can adapt in real time based on the student behavior and adaptitude. We also have the issue of effective distance education. We have been talking about distance education because we want students who are within and without. How can we have tools with anytime, anywhere capabilities? The other thing is inclusive education. We know we have elderly citizens. We say that learning is lifelong. We have marginalized people, some without devices, others in areas without electricity, others in areas that are completely locked out. We have persons living with disabilities. How do we ensure that education is inclusive? We have ethical concerns, issues of plagiarism, issues of intellectual properties. You've seen Daktari here showing you music generated by AI. at the end of the day, who takes credit for that music? Violation of privacy. UNESCO talks about 7 principles of AI in education. 1, the purpose for which AI is used for. AI is supposed to help students at the end of the day achieve their educational goals. There is the issue of compliance. They should comply to existing policies. Do we have the policies on the use of AI even as we speak right now in Kenya? Do we have even at the African context? The issues of knowledge. Even as we talk about AI, we are supposed to promote AI literacy. The issues of balance. That is balancing between what we can do with AI and then the risks that come with AI. The issues of integrity. The issues of agency. At the end of the day, we still have human beings. Are we replacing human beings with AI? So where is the balance? The issues of evaluation. Even as we get content from AI, can we be able to interrogate the accuracy, the relevance of that content? So these are use cases that when it comes to GenAI in education, I don't want to go into details. We can use it for content creation. That has been demonstrated by Dr. here. It can be used to enhance learning experiences, where we can personalize education by adapting learning materials to individual student needs. We know we have students at various levels. And if we do this, this will lead to more engaging and effective learning environment, where every other learner will be part and parcel of the learning process. We know that learning is a process. We don't want anybody to be left behind. There is so much administrative tasks that we do as educators. Most of these can be automated by GenAI and other artificial intelligence tools. The issues of language, we can have AI used in language learning, where AI interacts with the users, analyzes the level of language as far as that user is concerned, and then takes the user through until they master a certain language. And we have tools in that area. We have AI being used to enhance accessibility, especially for people who have disabilities. We can we talk about decision making. We normally make decisions in our institutions, and this is supposed to be informed by facts, by data. So AI is data driven, and we can use AI to make various decisions in our respective institutions in whatever we do. And then all this will translate to quite a number of benefits. We're talking about curriculum planning, generating data that can enable decision making, what we are calling learning analytics, content recommendation, focusing our learners to the relevant content. We can use chatbots and virtual assistants to take learners through the learning process. Automated grading and assessment, that is possible, and then other intelligent tutoring systems. We have quite a number of GenAI tools, general, that can be used. Dr. talked about text generation tools, image generation tools, music generation tools, code generation tools, voice synthesis tools, but I want to talk about specific ones that we can use in the area of education. There is Gradescope that can be used for basically grading, assignment and assessment. We have Zapier. This is good to automate various repetitive tasks such as grading assignments or sending email reminder to students. You can Google and get to know these tools. We have Squirrel AI that can be used for adaptive learning. basically to provide personalized support to students. You can try this again. We have Turnitin Feedback Studio. Again, that can be used to analyze student work and provide targeted feedback on areas such as grammar, spelling, and punctuation. There is Math AI, which basically uses machine learning algorithms to provide personalized math instruction, helping students to learn at their own pace. This is very good for those who have weaknesses in mathematics. We have other tools like Duolingo that is very good for learning languages. If you want to learn a certain language, you can use this tool. We have GenAI teaching assistant. There are quite a number of tools that are there that we can use in our various tasks that we do as educators. From content creation, assessment, even in our research work. So quite a lot that we can do. Education Copilot, this is a tool that can be used for lesson plans, even for creating lesson material. If you have been given a new topic to teach, you have no content, you can go quickly there, develop a lesson plan, and also get content. There is quite a lot, I just want to talk about some institutions that are using GenAI. And I want to say that from my assessment, we are at different levels. We have innovators, those who have embraced GenAI, and they have even come up with customized AI tools. In addition, they have policies and guidelines. These are the innovators. We have those that have come up with policies, guidelines, and they are using existing tools. Then we have a category we are calling early majority. They don't have guidelines, they are just there, but they have the tools are being used. And then we have the laggards, no guidelines, no utilization. In fact, most of these institutions, they have banned. We don't want our students to use AI for assignments, for research. So I don't know where our institutions are. At the University of where I'm coming from, we are still struggling with guidelines, but we are there. I will not say that we still have really embraced GenAI. But a few universities, like University of Michigan, these ones are in the category of adopters. They even have a University of Michigan GPT that is used to answer questions, produce written content, and make recommendations. We have universities like Stanford University. Researchers have developed an AI-powered chatbot called Quizbot that uses natural language conversations to help students review their coursework. We have New York University, where even in their library, they have an artificial intelligence bot that maintains the institution's library, so they don't even need librarians there. I know this is debatable. So the bot plays the role of the librarian, helping students and teachers search, scan, and get library resources. We have Kent State University, again in US. They have an AI bot, they call it Alex, which allows students to take online classes in a monitored classroom, and this has really helped students to master content. University of Murcia in Spain has also implemented an AI-powered chatbot called Lola, which assists students with inquiries about the campus and academic programs. So you can see some universities are even innovating their own customized GenAI tools to assist in their day-to-day activities and more so in student-centered activities. Harvard University, they have recognized that AI is there to stay. They are now encouraging responsible use of AI. Same case with the University of Oxford. Students and teaching staff are supported to use artificial intelligence ethically and appropriately in their work. And these skills are emphasized for students and the teaching staff. Immediately, a student is admitted there, they are taken through a training on how to use AI. But according to Oxford, AI is not a replacement of the individual effort needed to acquire the intellectual skills of a university graduate. So it's basically complement. And they say that because of the question, the content that is coming from AI in terms of correctness, users are encouraged to still interrogate that which comes from these tools, even as they complete the assignment, even as they undertake their research work. University of Bath in UK is aligning itself to the 5 key principles being adopted across UK universities. That is, students and staff are supported to become AI literate. I don't know whether we are doing that. Then staff are equipped to support students so that they can be able to use generative AI. And then there is another principle of adapting teaching and assessment to incorporate the ethical use of generative AI and support equal access. Then there is the other principle of ensuring academic rigor and integrity is upheld. And then staff and students are encouraged to work collaboratively to share best practice as the technology and its application in education evolves. So you can see what is happening in a number of institutions. I don't know what is happening in Maseno. I don't know what is happening in Chuka. I don't know what is happening in Kisii. These are questions that we shall be asking ourselves. At the University of Embu, together with some researchers, we have a project that we are working on where we are harnessing GenAI, and basically we are coming up with a tool we are calling Beshte, and this is to harness the power of AI to end new HIV infections among the Kenyan youth. We are 5 of us. It's a big project, and the question that we asked ourselves is, can we leverage on generative artificial intelligence to help increase awareness and promote HIV testing and HIV status disclosure? It's supported by a number of partners, and we are involving adolescents aged between 14 and 19. These are basically high school students. The youth who are in the universities, aged 19 to 24. We started with Embu and Murang'a, and we are working with other stakeholders, and basically is to come up with a data set and then train our model using that data set, so that at the end of the day we have a chatbot that is in Kiswahili, that is in English, but more so in Sheng, so that they can now be able to and make inquiries on all these issues they have around sexuality, because we realize that there's a big concern. They don't want to go to counselors. Sometimes they don't want to face their parents. They don't want to face other people who can walk the journey with. So because most of them have devices, they will just interact with the devices on these various issues. And at the moment, our tool, we are at the concept state. I don't know what is happening with the power. We have ensured that there is empathy, there is use of local languages, then there are personalized conversations. Should I continue? Because of time, I think I will continue. So at the moment, what we have is proof of concept, but we are working to scale the product, because we want to launch it officially on 1st of December 2024. And at the moment, what we are doing is we are doing the messaging together with the Maisha Youth, Ministry of Health, NASCOP, and other stakeholders, so that eventually we can have this product launched launched officially on 1st of December. So I think there is a lot that we can talk about when it comes to GenAI. I look forward to having quite enriching discussions. What is the way forward? Where do we start from? Do we have the necessary policies? What is the position of Q being one of our stakeholders in this space? Do we need policies at the national level, customized to the local institution? What is the way forward? When it comes to the way we assess students, what is the way forward? Because now we cannot start now, like I teach computer science now, asking this kind of questions, discuss, develop code that does A, B, C, D, explain, compare and contrast. Those questions have already been overtaken by GenAI. So it will be a very, it's a good workshop, very timely, and I look forward to a lot of discussions. So I want to, at this juncture, to invite my colleague to proceed with the discussion.
We are racing against time, so I'll go straight to the challenges, and they've been alluded to, isn't it? So let me treat this as more of a conclusion. So the challenges we've seen, a number of them. Number one, academic integrity is one of the key issues that's coming up. Now that AI can reproduce code and etc., there's an issue of academic integrity. People are presenting content as their own, which is not their own. But since we are not stopping people from using the tools, in fact we're encouraging, how do we still maintain academic integrity? And those are the kind of questions we should be thinking about today and tomorrow. Yeah? Not if we should stop it, but how do we still maintain academic integrity? Critical thinking and evaluation. I've done a paper on this matter some few months ago, and Professor will share that with you. Critical thinking. What is that doing to our thinking? GenAI, we are going to have to use it, but what is it doing? You know, I think I also almost become a victim of that. So it's still an issue, equity and accessibility. Then there is us. If the educators